Hey there, good morning. I wanted to come out here today and film a garden tour because it is an absolutely gorgeous May day, a beautiful morning. I wanted to show you everything that's growing. So much has changed out here. We've got so much going on. I actually just came out and took like a bunch of pictures because I just wanted to remember where we're at this time of year, because I feel like so many things are happening. Some of these projects you're gonna see in more detail. I've got a few videos coming up about putting together some of the individual containers. But I just want to do an update and like show you the whole thing. So let me turn the camera around and give you a full tour of my little mini urban garden here. Let me show you what we got. I'm going to start right here with this first section of containers. I have a few different container displays going on, but I wanted to start with this one because it's super fun, and then I'll work my way through the raised beds and around the garden and show you what's going on. So beautiful Kufia growing here with some super bells. This is holy cow, and then I've got some lemon slice, and I really love this look of the lemon slice with these geraniums and then this petunia. How fun is that? And I'm kind of going for this color scheme: pink, red, yellow, and maybe like a little bit of like the purples and blues. Got some really cute marigolds. I don't usually do marigolds, but I really kind of love this look of them just in a container, just single plant, just the marigold. And yeah, there's just something really cute about this big pom-pom like marigold. I of course have some tiny tomatoes. This is a red velvet. And yes, this is a micro tomato, so it can live its whole life in this tiny pot. Isn't that cool? I'm gonna do a whole video about my micro tiny tomatoes, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know I love these. And so I wanna talk all about them even more. Then in here I have some rhubarb. Actually, this is rhubarb I started from seed. It's called Glaskins Perpetual Rhubarb. And if it grows big enough, I actually should be able to harvest from it this year. It's one that you can harvest the first year if you get enough. So I have two little plants in here. I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll have to repot them, but right now they're pretty small. So they're gonna live in there. And then, yeah, another pot with salvia, a sweet potato vine that might need to be replaced. It's looking a little rough. But of course, some super tunia bubblegum. Actually, there's dahlias in there. My little fountain, it still isn't sunny enough yet, so that hasn't taken off. I'm waiting for a few plants still. So this is actually gonna have a passion flower vine in it. So I'm just like waiting on that. And then this is some lesser catmint, which bloomed like all the way till Christmas for me. So I'm super excited to see it doing so well. It's one of the few perennials that I have in a container, and it's just looking gorgeous. And I actually have some catnip for the kitties, a little alyssum along here, along this raised bed. This is a beautiful baby blue eucalyptus that I actually overwintered in my greenhouse. I had a few different plants. I think I have maybe like 5, and this is the only one that survived, but it's looking great. And I gave it its own pot. It's looking happy. And I'm just gonna show you what else I've got in these raised bed. I planted cucumbers along here, and maybe something, nothing's really sprouted yet, but keep an eye on that. And then in here I have a mandevilla that's going to be growing up this garden arch, and I have a bunch of tomatoes. So these are all determinate style tomatoes, so they won't get absolutely massive. They'll probably get a few feet. I'll stake them, but yeah, they just like won't take over like those indeterminate ones. A few carrots that I think are just basically going to seed. I don't really know if anything's happening with that. Another tomato. Over here I've got some green onions, and I just popped in a few more of these marigolds just to kind of add a little touch of that. I planted some basil along the front that's coming up. It's just barely starting to sprout. And so I may add like some more flowers in here or different things in and around the tomatoes. I'm just gonna kind of let this bed evolve as I go. Then over here is my little perennial section of the garden, and my alliums are blooming. I am absolutely loving these. These were new additions that I planted last fall, and I'm so glad I did. I may do more in here because they're just such a great like early spring flower. You know, we're past the daffodil daffodil and tulip phase, but we're not quite on to like all the summer, you know, the perennials haven't started blooming. So what a great plant for in between, that like in between time in a perennial garden. So I really like these. I think they're really fun. They're just starting to take off. I have a few containers that I actually put some zinnia seeds in. So those are coming up. I've got a snake root. This is a phlox. There's black-eyed Susan. So this is my little perennial section. I actually planted some sunflowers back behind the phlox, and not a whole lot happening here, but at least it's fun to see the alliums come up. And then I actually even have some dahlias that overwintered. So that's kind of cool. And this has been a fun, my like one little fun area to play with real perennial growing. And yeah, it's always interesting to watch, and I definitely have learned a lot gardening in this area. Then I have two raised beds over here. This one has some zinnias, which you can see coming up. I think I need to resow a couple because looks like something got in and munched on them, but there's a few zinnias coming up, and then some peppers. This is, let's see, which one is this? This was a poblano. I have like a not spicy jalapeno and a lunchbox pepper in there, and then a bunch of Swiss chard, which I'm actually going to come in and start harvesting because this is about the size that I like to eat it for, like on sandwiches and stuff. So I'm going to harvest and thin out this Swiss chard a little bit as we go here, so that I can get some bigger Swiss chard plants. And then in this other raised bed, I just right now have 2 eggplants, and I actually planted some pumpkin seeds to grow up this trellis. So that will be kind of fun. Grow bags in this area. This is where the greenhouse was, and it's just kind of a utilitarian area. It's not like the most beautiful, but I figured I'd pop some grow bags in here for now and just try to grow some veggies like sunflowers. And there's another eggplant here, and then I also have I think I'm gonna do some ground cherries I planted in some of these. I have a video coming out, so many videos like in waiting, coming out all about the grow bags. But another grow bag that's doing super well is this one. This is my potato grow bag. So these are potatoes. They're starting to put on some size now and looking really healthy. I've heard really good reviews about growing potatoes in grow bags, and while I've never done it personally, yeah, just so many good reviews. So I'm excited to see how these end up doing. I'm gonna wait until they flower and start like flopping a little bit, and then I'll harvest them probably like midsummer. I think will end up being when these are mature. I think I planted them mid-March for time frame, so they're a couple months old. Then I have my green stock, which hasn't really changed except for I took out a few plants and put in some petunias that I started from seed, which is kind of cool, and they are doing really well. And then I actually got this random pepper, and I thought I'll just see if I can grow a pepper in here too. I'm gonna start kind of filling it with random things. I might try to do some squash in it. This is the, like, technically they're like lettuce leaf style size, so it's not quite as big, but you know me, I like to push the limits, and so even though it's not technically for those big plants, I thought I'd try to do just like a couple. You know, I won't fill it completely with huge plants, but I'll see what I can get away with growing in it, because it would be really nice to yeah, just kind of experiment with this. Like, you could have an entire kind of garden in one of these, so I'm curious to see what all I can get going. But right now we'll do petunias, the pepper, and then just keep throwing things in as the other plants mature or move on or flower, whatever they do. I have a whole bunch of containers over here that don't look like much, but they have things happening. So there's this fun pepper container, which is just starting to mature and take off. I've got melons growing in containers. I've got a bay leaf. There's a hardy fig, a blueberry right there, and some more. I'm going to put another blueberry in this pot. I've got a tomato and some fun things happening there. And then this is actually, got to stake it back up, a corkscrew willow that I'm experimenting with growing in containers. I just love willows, and I always wanted one in my garden, and I felt like a container was just like the safest with willow roots and everything, and I'm just gonna experiment with how that works growing the willow in there. We're flipped back around and we're over to the other side of the walkway. I kind of mirrored the look of these pots over here and just, you know, put in some more of the petunias and the geraniums, little super petunias. the Super Junior Bubblegum. Yeah. And then I have some more eucalyptus. Now these I started from seed this year. I started the seeds in January. This is the lemon gum eucalyptus. Oh look, there's a little bug on here. It's like a little mini praying mantis. This is lemon gum eucalyptus and this is the baby blue. So I definitely have heard a lot of different things about like people not liking this one because they say it doesn't smell good. I think it smells really nice. I think it smells really lemony and beautiful. And of course the baby blue is like that typical eucalyptus smell. So if you want like the real just like eucalyptus smell, like go with a baby blue style. This is that classic eucalyptus. This almost smells like a citronella, and it is supposed to kind of keep bugs away, you know, as well as any plant can do that. But I really like both of them, and I have grown both of them consistently and probably always will. Then I just did a little pot with some Coleus just to add that color. This pot has an elephant ear, and I actually got the elephant ear seed from, or like bulb from Walmart, and I wasn't totally sure how well it would grow, but it's put on 2 leaves now. And then I just put a few of these little impatiens around the outside. I need to come through and fertilize everything. There's another Coleus back there. My fertilizer schedule got a little bit off this particular week because we had a ton of rain, and so yeah, I need to come back out and get everything fertilized. This bed is my I'm calling it my pickle bed because I planted a bunch of cucumber seeds. Nothing's come up yet, but I seeded a bunch of cucumbers, and then there's a ton of dill in there, so it's kind of like, you know, like pickles. And then I also put some basil on the front, and we got mandavillas again that are going to go up the garden arch. Let me show you. Here's the garden arch. So imagine that covered in the pink flowers. I think it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be so amazing to see the difference between this garden right now and then just in just a couple months. I'm going to move slowly over here, and I've got like a little bit of a bedded planting. Honestly, I'm not loving this right now, but there's Coleus and some snapdragons and different things. And I, you know, hopefully as the season goes, this will fill in and start to be a little prettier. And then over here is my container pond and a couple little lettuce containers that are starting to take off. These are violas that I started from seed. How pretty are those? And the container pond. So I've got, you can't really see it, but there's a water lily in there that's starting to come up. We've got hornwort, and then some creeping jenny. This is some papyrus. I think it's called Little Prince. And actually some watercress that I started from seed. And then hopefully in the next few weeks, I keep saying it, I need to go get some goldfish, because pretty soon here we're gonna have mosquito, and I don't really want this whole pond to fill up with mosquito larvae, so we gotta get some goldfish to help with that, and hopefully that should take care of any like major problem with mosquitoes. So gonna do that soon. That's gonna be the next addition. And then I just have one more pot, lots of containers. Let me show you my last. This one is fun. This is a hardy banana. So I decided to do a perennial grow bag and just kind of see how it goes. I've got Yarrow Coreopsis. This is a Colorado Yarrow. I got a mix, so I'm not quite sure what colors these will be. Then there's a white Coreopsis and just the regular plains yellow Coreopsis, and then this fun banana, which I believe it's like a zone 5 through maybe 8, 9. But yeah, it should be able to live outside year round, which is pretty cool. And then I did some of these like Tom Thumb peas in these little grow bags, and they're starting to put on peas. They didn't germinate super well. As you can see, there's only like 1 or 2 plants in each grow bag, but I still think they're kind of cute, and I really love doing peas in grow bags. Grow bags I have a love-hate relationship with. Some things I like to grow in them, some things I don't, but peas are one of the things that I do really like to grow in grow bags, and they're looking great. I can't wait to start eating these. They're close to harvest. So I think that is everything in the May garden. Thank you so much for watching. It's so fun to just see where we're at, and I can't wait to show you what this garden looks like even next month. I think it's gonna be so different. So definitely stick around and I will give you more updates. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.